Hello, it's Jesse here, and welcome back to Jesse's Vintage Garage. And it's kind of nice outside, and lately, and I was able to. We've had this thing running a couple times inside, and I had it outside running it. I actually tried to putt around with it for a little bit, and now we're to the point where we can do retorque on stuff. And so far, it would run for a while, get kind of warm, and then it would shut off. So we're thinking that the valves need to be reset and readjusted again. And we're just kind of getting started here. I got the covers opened up. We can have access to the valves. We'll go through that, rotating it. We get the plugs out, and we're starting to just check the torques on things. So let's get started here. All right. So on this first part here, working on the checking these base nuts. So this base nut here is loose quite a bit. It's pretty easy to move around. We're going to have to retorque these down. And we have some hard ones to get to. We're going to be contemplating over how to get to them. But we'll start there right now, work our way up.
Oh boy. Wrench don't want to go in there. We might have to thin up the wrench.
That moves a lot too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'll try it with a real wrench here. And I can't get on it with a socket wrench and a torque wrench or anything, so we're just going off as we want it really tight. So we don't want this coming loose ever while running, obviously. We don't want the jugs bouncing up and down when it's running. Okay. We could go get the other the four on the other side easily.
We might be able to get to that from underneath on the other side.
We'll try them other ones, harder ones.
Yes. I can't get onto it. This is in the way. Maybe I can get another reach now. Yeah, I can. Okay, here we go. I think.
So here in the Flathead, we got all the base nuts tightened down as tight as we can get them. Put this front one back in here. It's kind of hidden. Our options are to take the exhaust off and remove the generator, and we'd be able to get to it. But we all know from some of the previous video and our experience at putting the exhaust on that is not a feasible option. So, because it's crazy to work on that. So the other thing is I got this wrench here, this bent one. If you remember, when we were putting the base, tightening these jugs down originally, we used this wrench. We even had to modify a little bit and grind on it. Well, it fits it well, but it's at a weird angle, so we're gonna have to modify this wrench possibly and bend it. That'll keep us from having to disassemble the motor and then put it back together just to tighten that base nut down. So we're gonna see what we can do here. I think we might be able to get the right angle on this bend and be able to go in there and pop it right on there and give it a nice tighten. I got the wrench, the special wrench we're gonna be using for the base nuts. I got it bent a little bit, so it gives us an angle we can probably get to back here. It's gonna be kind of hard to get to it, but we're gonna work on that right now. Getting that last nut there torqued down. Yeah, there it is right there. You can see it. So we're going to work on getting that in here. There we are. I got the wrench in there. It's not touching nothing like the posts or anything on the generator, so we're good. Anyway, so now we got to go to the right here. So I got to pull it to the front of the bike and see if I can get it to move a little bit. Yeah, I think I got it tight. Wow, we don't want these coming loose. They might come loose again down the road, but I think we're good right here now. So I'm going to go over the rest of these real quick and just make sure they're all tight. Okay, so since we got all the base nuts tight, we got a good starting point here. that means that the cylinders are all the way down. And when we go to adjust the valves, now we're going to readjust them. We're going to readjust them correctly now because we know that we're at our furthermost setting at the bottom with the bases being totally against the block. So this procedure, we did it a while back when we first did it, but we got to do it all over again. And it says in my nice book over here, my original book, it talks about how to make sure we set it up.
It says when, for instance, when this one is, the valve is completely closed, you go to the like cylinder, which this is exhaust. So you go to this exhaust, if we're doing this one, then this one should be all the way up, or in other words, the valve completely open. So when this valve is open, this one will be closed, and you got to adjust this one. Then you roll it over to where this one is open, and then this one would be closed.
Then we adjust that one.
And then you adjust that one. But we not necessarily need to do those in that order like that.
Because they won't work.
Maybe the next one up will be this one. We can tell that.
Yeah, we find out as we roll the motor over forward, of course.
Right.
And then the settings for the...
It's right here.
It talks about
intake is 4 to 5, and exhaust is 7 to 8.
Okay. We're going to start working on that now.
So...
Yeah, so we got it in 4th gear. We got the spark plugs out, and we're gonna start watching this. This intake's going down. All right, starting to go up.
Okay, watch that one is what we want to watch.
All right, so starting with the exhaust now. We have it opened, and we're gonna use we tried it with a feeler gauge, and we're getting somewhere around 4 and 5 on it. So we're gonna get ready to try 7 and 8, which it's supposed to be.
Okay, 2 7/16. This tightens up that. And this holds that.
Yeah, that bottom nut tightens it to the tappet.
Yeah.
And then the top one is hex shaped, which allows you to grab something with and loosen it or tighten it.
We should be able to turn it now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I could turn it.
So okay. Yeah, need like 7 or 8. Are we gonna go with 8 or what?
Let's start with 7. Got to get it in there first. There it is. Wow. That might be a little loose. That's a 7, yeah. Yeah, wow. Goes from super loose to really tight. There we go. 7's easy. 8's really kind of which way you want to go. You want to be 8 or?
Well, it gets warm, so I mean maybe it needs to be.
We'll try 8 first, and we can always come back and tighten them up after we get it broke in.
Yeah,
because it might do this again.
Yeah, so I think I mentioned in the earlier segments in this video, but we're finally able to come back to the bike, so I kind of didn't go over the video footage and don't remember exactly what I all said, but I did have this bike out, and we did ride it just a little bit, and it kind of like shut off on me. What ended up happening was the valves tightened up because the cylinders lifted, and then they weren't able to.
Well, the gasket's compressed.
Oh, that's probably what it was. Yeah. So then
then the nuts got loose.
Right, and then what ended up happening is it doesn't allow the valves to
when it
to
gets
move,
hot.
yeah, to move like it's supposed to. So it ends up shutting the motor off because it can't operate.
Lost compression because valve's stuck open, basically.
Right. So we're at the point now after our initial warm up, and we're gonna reset all this stuff and try it again. We'll probably do some footage on that, running it there, like when we're done, but because I want to kind of like try the Bendix again, and we might end up going a different route. I think I mentioned that too. We're gonna end up going back to Linker with this bike probably. I'll explain all that later when we mess with that, but.
Wow. Really scratches my feeler gauge.
Looks like you got it.
Yeah, I did. Now I got to hold it still.
And tighten it up.
And tighten it up.
Oops.
Well, let's see if it still fits. And no, not really. So when you tighten it, it tightens.
We'll keep messing with this here. We'll come back. All right, so we're working on this one now. We got our 7 and 8 over here. It's a loose 7, real loose 7, not quite 8. But now we've got the motor rolled over, and now we're ready to check this one out. I think we're looking like a loose 4 is what we just saw. So just check it again here. Yeah, see how the 4 just slides around really nice.
Yep. Now here's a number 5. And 5 don't quite go all the way in. So it's kind of between like, it's a loose 4 but a tight 5.
So it's kind of like our loose 7 and tight 8. So we're sitting about the same, but only on intake here. So
both of these are good to go. So now we're going to start adjusting these. So now what we got to watch for is whichever one of these two start to go up, we want to watch it till it goes all the way up. So then whichever one it is, exhaust or intake, then we adjust the like cylinder. Or like one.
Like one in the front. Okay. So I'll watch here. All right, the back one's going up.
Okay.
And it's up, going up. Starting to come down. Yeah, right there. It's top.
Okay, so now we're going to set the front.
Front exhaust.
Front exhaust. Yeah, I can't get a 4 in it even.
Really? No. So it's tighter than it needs to be. You can't get a 4 in
yeah,
there.
Can't get a 4 in, so.
That means 7 or 8 won't even go.
Well, no, of course not. They're tight. That's what's wrong. Here's the 7. Where's the 8? Here's 8. Here's 7. Okay. So we're going to have to loosen them up. This thing in the way.
Yeah, of course it is. We don't want to tear this whole bike apart. It's just like we were saying, it'd be a lot easier if we had the heads off to do this, because we could watch the valves also and not miss anything. But that would require taking everything apart again. Yeah. So we just finished up the valves. It was kind of a pain in the butt because I had to hold this brake pedal down and stuff so he could actually get in there, and this is in the way, and it was a pain. Couldn't do the videoing very well. And yeah, anyway, so we got this one set for 7 and 8 because it's exhaust, and then 4 and 5 thousandths for the intake. And now we're ready to close these up, which we'll do here, and then we'll put the clips back in, and then I guess what we're gonna do next is we're gonna just take this intake all off. We're gonna take the Bendix out. I kind of wanted to run it, and I talked about this plenty of times in this video, but it just doesn't function like I think it was gonna do. This carburetor is, when it came out in 71, 72, the throttle cables changed at the same time. And what I mean is, this was a spring return throttle body for this carburetor, and this doesn't function properly to do that right. Yeah, they make a spiral to change it out so you can make it a pull instead of a push, but it just doesn't function that way. I had to unhook the spring, and it didn't function when I unhooked the spring as well, because then I lose the tension. We had to disable the accelerator pump, which is one of the main reasons to even have a Bendix, because it has an accelerator pump here. So I had to disable that. We got to figure out how to keep this from flying off, because because it wants to come out because of the fuel, and I just couldn't get it to idle and sit right. So I have a linker. It's just that we're gonna probably come back in a different video, rebuild the linker, and then we'll be putting it on this bike. And maybe we got the 68 Triumph going on right now, and I'm trying to get that done by a certain time this year, and this bike will be on the back burner, and then we'll be working on Harleys pretty much through the winter, 56 and this. So just want to come clean on this, because this is not going to work out like I thought it would and was hoping it would. This would work really well if I was not running the stock style handlebars, just say it that way. Because if I was running like dog bones or some sort of like fancy ape hangers, or even just stock looking bars, as long as I had the throttle cable different than the stock style in 1940 and all the way to the panhead era with the push and pull stuff, this would work really good, because this carburetor, like I said, is kind of too new for this bike. And it's not that it wouldn't work, it's just that I don't want to alter everything else to make it work when I can just throw a linker on here and it'll be fine. So I hope you enjoyed everything. We'll come back again when that linker's on here, and we'll try running it again, and we'll see what it's all like. So yeah, we'll see you again soon. So looking back at the footage as at the end of the video here, we got the bike off lift now, so we can get working on the 68 Triumph Bonneville. And I forgot to mention, looking back through the footage, I forgot to mention the head bolts. So when we were checking them out, we ended up not being able to get any more torque out of them. They were tight, and it must have something to do with that really thin copper head gasket that we put in there. So anyway, I just wanted to verify that and say all that, because I forgot to in the beginning there when we first noticed it and found out. So anyway, we'll see you again soon.